oil, to teach students that small actions make a big impact and to increase their vocabulary. Then we're going to talk about the method and the planning process. And at the end, we'll look at the results, the events, student feedback, and further plans. And obviously, you can ask any questions. So, the first aim was to raise awareness, take action, and to learn. I'm not sure how much you know about the fashion industry, but the new fashion industry, which is the cheap clothes that most teenagers buy, has a huge detrimental effect on the environment. From the amount of energy that's used, the water, the energy, the fertilizers, pesticides used growing the cottons, to the transport, to the labor that's often child labor or women slave labor, has a lot of impacts. And then the teenagers buying these clothes on AliExpress, or I don't know where actually, but for very cheap um, cost, which doesn't reflect anything to do with the production of the clothes or the actual cost of the clothes. So if we're looking at cheap clothes, the fashion industry really is the second biggest polluter in the world. That was one of our aims. So these are why we thought it was an important activity. One, the students use the English language for the whole activity. They learn about sustainability. They learn about the world we all live in. And they understand how they can contribute to improving the state of the world. Especially important is for the students to learn that each one of us, adults, students, we all have the same responsibility and our actions are affecting the whole world. So let's look at the planning process. The project involved everyone from the English teachers to creative staff to student coordinators. It really is, or really with us, was a school activity. And this is our project timeline. I'm just going to move this. So we started, as I said, we had the talk with Judy, was just before Pesach. So the first thing I did with the English coordinator was decide who the target audience would be in our school, as it was a pilot project, and the date was chosen. So we chose to do the project with 7th and 8th grades students, and we chose the 18th of May. Then in the week before the Passover vacation, so it was all very, very fast, the English team was sent vocabulary that they were to teach their classes, and they were also sent other activities, but they all found activities that were suitable for their level of classes. So if we had English speakers found TED Talks, other classes had movies or quizzes, and there were also Quizlets and the booklet game for the vocabulary. And at that time, before the Passover holiday, we asked the students to look for clothes over the vacation that they wanted to bring in to swap or to give away. As soon as we got back from the vacation, the English teachers had to revise the vocabulary and go over the importance of the topic again, and they made posters. And the students started to bring in bags of clothes. At this point, I had also collected a lot of clothes from different people in my community over the vacation. So there were a lot of clothes of very good quality, to say. The day before, as well as swapping clothes, we decided to add another item to our activity, which is upcycling. Upcycling is when you take an item or an article, any item, and improve it, make it into a better item. So we asked them to bring plain, simple, old t-shirts, and they had the possibility to paint, to decorate, and to make it into a fun t-shirt for the summer vacation. So we had to buy the materials, which were paints, pens, stickers, beads, stencils that were suitable for material. And then the 18th of May, we took one class responsible for setting up the swap shop, which is bringing tables out. We had it outdoors. They brought the tables out, and each student had a table, or two students. They folded the clothes, and it was sort of their shop. And then, as you'll see, the swapping begins and the upcycling begins. I have to say that at this point we decided not actually to do swapping, but to give away the clothes, because we didn't want any discomfort from students that didn't or hadn't brought any clothes, or didn't have anything to bring. So we decided that anyone who wanted to take something, found something that suited them, that they wanted, they could take. So we carried on. Okay, these are, you can get all these tools afterwards. So tools for vocabulary were a Quizlet of the vocabulary we chose. Obviously it can be changed, suited to the school, with the Blooket game to go with it. And then, as I said, on the fashion industry, we had the quiz and the Earth Day information that Judy sent, and then we found TED Talks, movies, and articles, depending on the level of the classes. So this was all the educational material we were using. And this is the day. As you can see on the right, this is how we set up the swap shop with different tables, with students on each table. And on the back, you can see we have railings where we hung up the posters. And I found a lot of hangers donated to hang up dresses, jackets, next to the posters in between. It was sort of creating a sort of market atmosphere, and that's what we tried to do. And in the end, the students were actually calling out as if they were in a market, you know, trying to get rid of what they had on their store. So the results basically were a great success overall. This is the final outcome. So in the event, the students had a great time. They swapped clothes, they decorated clothes. The students responsible on the stalls, they loved it. They loved trying to sort of sell their clothes. And as I said, they were shouting out sort of market-y things. 1 hat to go, 2 jeans to go. There was a lot of music, and it was just a really lively, fun atmosphere. The students' feedback afterwards was, we had written feedback of students that had understood that their actions do have an impact. In the original meeting, when we discussed with Judy, some teachers suggested there may be a stigma of taking clothes from other people. There was absolutely no stigma, and people were really excited at finding great finds. Like if they knew a company or they like a certain shop and they saw something, they were actually very excited at finding things that they liked. The decorating t-shirts and jeans was really fun, and they were really proud of their upcycled new garments, which I hope they'll wear over the summer. So there were clothes that remained. There were many clothes of larger sizes. So teachers and boarding school students from high school came, and they took items that they liked. And they also asked to be involved next time. And any clothes that remained were donated at a local second-hand shop that sell the clothes for a very small amount of money, but use that money to buy food for those in need. So all in all, there was nothing left at the end. So here are some of our pictures. On the left we see our teacher Maya with a great decorating team, and these are our upcycled t-shirts. I'm sorry I don't have a picture of the jeans. They were absolutely fabulous. As you can see, all the stencils I found were in English, so we were using English in every part of the activity. And this is the atmosphere. If you can get the atmosphere, I couldn't manage to upload a film, but this was the atmosphere. It was really fun and lively, and the students were really excited. You can see them on the right. They were showing off their new wares, whether it was a hat, whether it was pajamas. They were showing off their posters. They were all very excited. Maybe this is a good age to do it. As you can see, it was very lively. So if I reflect on it, I have to say that it's a project that's 100% teamwork, not just of the English team. You need to add in other parts of the school. I would suggest doing it twice a year when students and teachers change their clothes from winter to summer and then summer to winter. And I would also suggest that to do it in middle and high school. And I really want to thank everyone for the teamwork, especially to the English team who contributed, because together we made the event a great success, and to Atid Raziel for encouraging out-of-the-box education. So, thank you all.
Thank you, Lisa. I would really like to thank you for sharing this amazing project. I see Tal is here, yeah, and Elaine is here, Atid Raziel. Good for you. And I would like to apologize again. I can't fix my camera. I can't turn it on. I don't know what went wrong with it. So I really apologize for that. And now it's time for questions. If you have any questions, so please open your mic and ask Lisa or Tal or Ellen. No questions?
Share if there are no questions.
Mm-hmm.
I have one question. Can you hear me?
Yes, Amal, we can.
Okay. For example, let's say I want to do this project next year. I'm going to teach Hakbatsa Gimel. Okay. It's like the third Hakbatsa, 7th and 8th grade. I think it's going to take more time to do vocabulary and all the other stuff that I need to teach them. So it will take me more than 1 month to do it with them.
Definitely. It will take more
Yeah.
time. But if you look at the things I uploaded of the Quizlet and start with the Quizlet and then move on to the games and then discuss the topic. But slowly, yeah.
It can be done by Hakbatsa Gimel, right? Hakbatsa
Of
Gimel.
course, yeah.
7th, 8th.
Yeah.
The week
You can also choose the vocabulary on the list and make a smaller Quizlet that's more suitable to them. And the topic, obviously, you can discuss it with just some of the very main parts of the topic of pollution or child labor. Just discuss some of the items and just limit the whole thing. But it can definitely be done with everybody.
Our weaker students also took part. They're not Gimel, they're more Bet, but the teachers taught them vocabulary which was relevant for their group, and they also took part. Everybody took part.
I think there are ways to make it easier for an Hakbatsa Gimel group. When they're working on the vocabulary, then like Lisa said, really kind of pick and choose very specific terms and expressions that you think that they should learn. And when making the posters, I found one group was stuck and they didn't know what to do with the poster and they didn't have an idea. And I said, listen, you can take all of these terms that you can use while in the swap shop, the part of the terms that Lisa, you sent us in advance with the vocabulary, like, what size is this, or things like that are very useful and very important for everyday communication when they go, into shops and malls and whatever. And if they make a list of those words and kind of write it on different posters or on one poster, a few of them, and decorate it nicely, then they have it to use it as a tool while they're trying to interact with one another. They literally have it in front of their eyes. They don't have to memorize it. They just have to understand what it means and how to pronounce it. And that will encourage them to be able to use it more.
So Tal, you're suggesting maybe they will write the useful terms that you use when you go shopping for clothes. You can just put it in front of them on posters.
One group, because the idea is not to do it for them, but for them
they will do it.
For them to come up even with what kind of things they want to ask in that scenario, and then help them come to how to say it in English, and then prepare posters and decorate the swap shop area with the posters. Stronger groups can do other types of things, but that would be very good, I think, for a weaker group.
Also, they can do acting, act out between them of shopping. It's really one of the most basic things. As soon as they go abroad, it doesn't matter where to, they will want to go shopping and will need to know how much does this cost? How big is this? They're very basic terms. I've often had to teach it to adults. Those are the terms that people need when they go abroad. So we're actually teaching them skills for life.
Any other questions?
So who's going to do a swap shop or a swap shop sustain?
It's not a question, but I want to say that you've done a great job. I know that the students like these activities and these projects, and for sure we'll give it a thing to try it next year. And great job. Thank you, Lisa.
We made it into actually a whole morning. We did the swap shop for 2 hours, and then we showed them a movie. And then we made our, and at the end we had because we're at Kfar Noor, we have a kitchen. We got the kitchen to make us what I asked for, Anglo-Saxon food. We put up the signs at the time that Judy sent us for the dining rooms. We put them up outside. Well, we were absolutely amazed because they actually made us a Thanksgiving dinner, which we didn't know. It was a surprise for us. Kitchen involved, you can have fish and chips, you can have
Amazing.
I would like to do it with my kids.
Yes, Amal, go ahead. I saw Beshatsky wrote in the chat that she's willing to try it next year, right?
Right, but not exactly like this, not a copy of this.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone needs to.
Very appropriate to our classes, to our school, to everything. Thanks for sharing. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to adapt it. Like we decided halfway through that we weren't going to do the swapping part, but that everybody could receive and everyone could take. I think everyone needs to adapt it to suit their students and their
Definitely
community.
Mm-hmm. Amal, you wanted to say something before?
Has anybody done it with their community?
Pardon me, Abigail?
Has anybody done it? And like if the school is in a small community, like has anybody invited like older people to come, or like just because of the sizes of the clothes, it's better to limit it to a specific kind of slice of the population?
Well, we actually, because I said that I included collecting clothes from my local community, so there were clothes the size for teachers and for high school kids, so they actually did join in afterwards. It depends how you want to do it. You have to adapt it to your school.
Okay.
I would like to share that at the end of the year, I always send feedback form from all the students that I teach, just to hear what they think and what stayed with them throughout the year. And I was really surprised because I'll be honest here, I spent less time with my classes preparing them for the swap shop because it was really a time crunch, as Lisa said. Everything was right before Passover and immediately after, and we had a lot of lessons that were canceled for various reasons. And so I did spend a few lessons, and I had my substitute teacher that took over for me once or twice work on some of the posters with them without me. But I didn't know how meaningful it was until I read it in the feedback forms, because it was all about the entire year. And a lot of them wrote how they enjoyed working on the posters and they enjoyed the day, and they learned so much about the topic and they didn't know, and that it empowered them and it suddenly made them think about shopping differently and about purchasing things differently. And I was blown away and I was really, really touched by it. And thank you, Lisa, for bringing it to the school.
Well, thank you, Tal. Your class where the stall holders, they could work in Carmel Market easily.
And I think they really were happy about using English in a useful way and being able to communicate in English more freely than in a regular lesson.
Amazing. Okay, any other comments? Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one comment.
I can add that if I were a student, I would be so glad to take part in it. And even now, as a teacher,
totally
just to
agree with you. Yeah,
we have a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I also believe my kids would love to take part in it, because in Chavat Noor, we have kids that are Na'aleh. They come from Russia, and we have kids that come from the US. So we talk a lot about converting sizes. What is size 6 in Israel? What is size 4? So it's a bit relevant to my kids here. So we can really use this kind of project.
If you one of the reasons that we chose not to do swapping was what we thought. We also have Na'aleh, and the Na'aleh, you have to explain to them, if you involve them They didn't understand. They came in and they thought we were giving them charity. And we explained to them, no, everybody's doing this. It's a project. And we had to explain. Their teacher, their Ulpan teacher, went in and the mechanechet and explained to them, no, it's not charity. And everybody's taking it away. It's part of what we're doing, because the Na'aleh children from Russia feel that it's you're like, I don't know, that they're getting something for nothing, and they feel that they don't need it. They don't need to be given the things they've got. So you'd have to explain there's a cultural issue there. Okay.
But we did manage to change that cultural issue, because those same students came and they wanted the bigger sizes and asked to be involved next year.
That's right.
So, but their madrachim, they had to understand first about what was behind the project, about the pollution and the sustainability. Once it was all explained, people found it easy to join in.
Okay.
Amazing.
And if you want any help, you can be in touch.
Of course. Mm-hmm. Okay, any other comments, questions? Okay, so thank you, Lisa, so much, Chantal and Hélène. And I think we can leave the room and go back to the main room.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. See you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Where are you guys coming back from?
Room 4.
Number
We finished
4.
the swap shop sustain pretty early.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good, good. So you can talk to me.
We discussed how that we adapted it to our school and how each school needs to adapt it to suit their